a time of celebration, the welcoming of summer, the opening of the summer pastures, the lighting of bonfires, and, in my experience as well, the time of dancing. Now, my history with dancing is somewhat checkered, but I noticed that one of the last things that happened before lockdown was that the final of Dancing with the Stars went ahead despite all the health concerns without a studio audience. So that's how important dancing has always been to our culture. And it would be important to me too. That wonderful experience of losing yourself on the dance floor, of finding your purpose in life. It would be wonderful if I had ever been able to do it. Now, my introduction to dancing came as a child at school growing up in Liverpool. Now, we didn't do set dancing, we called it country dancing. And our teacher did the best she could. But halfway through, she had to invent some special calls unique to our class. So, left, right, one step forward, two steps back, and whatever you see Anita and her partner doing, don't copy it because it'll be wrong. And it usually was. So let's just say that the Bridge of Athlone and the Siege of Ennis were all failed campaigns as far as I was concerned. Now, I fared better in the Irish Centre, where we actually had Céilís. And even though my performance was at least as poor there, everything we did was fueled by passion and national pride. And if you got lost, it was usually in mid-air, and an adult with GAA reflexes would be stationed at the end of the lines to catch the flying child, mutter encouragement, and throw them in the right direction so that everything fitted together neatly. So I was, when towards the end of my school career, just when they'd managed to put up with me for that length of time, the powers that be decided that the end of year event was going to come in the form of, you've guessed it, set dancing. Now, the thing is, in Liverpool, as I said, we don't do Céilís unless we are in the Irish Centre. Otherwise, we do barn dances. Now, I have never worked out why anyone would want to go into a barn and dance unless they were having serious troubles with their farming career. However, in our school, it was decided that that would happen. Now, just down the road from the school, there was an actual barn because we went to school right on the edge of a country area. And the year before ours, the farmer had been kind enough to actually give his barn over as a premises for the end of year barn dance. Now, by the time our year came round, the farmer was refusing for some reason to have any of our pupils anywhere near his premises under any pretext ever again. It might have been something to do with how things went the last time. So to pacify the year head, he agreed to donate some authentic bales of hay, which were put out at strategic intervals on the floor of the school hall. And we had a fantastic band for the occasion. They were called Cot on the Hop. I didn't know what that meant either. Now, everything seemed to be going so well until the boy who drew the straw of partnering me for the night turned up. At first, it all seemed fine, but as soon as we stood and faced each other to prepare for the first dance. There was a certain lack of focus in the eyes, not to mention a certain fume from that hung on the air all around him, that made me realise that whether it was because he, like me, suffered from a certain degree of social anxiety, or maybe it was just the prospect of having to spend the whole evening with me, but he had fortified himself for the night with the help of the contents of his father's drinks cabinet. Well, you can imagine what followed. And this time, there was no teacher to shout out warnings not to do what Anita and her partner were seen to do. And there were no adults stationed to grab you and throw you in the right direction. There was just a large set of people watching in horror as I was thrown from this way to that, up in the air, down again. And that was before Caught on the Hop issued the instruction that I dreaded but knew was coming. And everybody swing. I shall draw a veil over all of it. Let's just say that everything became a semi-permanent whirl of colour, music, and sheer terror. It was nothing like getting lost in midair in the Irish Centre. It was more like being sent into orbit. However, I began to learn the start of a very important lesson. No amount of swinging can be sustained to indefinitely without a strategic shift in gravity. At a certain point, my partner could not go on flying me around, and things went in the other direction. And at that moment, I discovered a sense of peace, control, focus, maybe something close to what my English teacher had always tried to get me to understand. The still point of the turning world. And that was the moment that empowered me. If you are overburdened, what do? You release. And so I let go of my fears. I let go of my inhibitions. And in the process, of course, I also let go of my partner. It was probably just as well the farmer had thoughtfully put those hay bales in place. They had what perhaps could be described as a pinball effect, and they ensured that on his journey he did not take out anyone else. However, the sight of him spread-eagled over the drum kit in the middle of the band will live long in my memory, and the memory of the band as well. Caught on the Hop were very understanding, and they even promised that if he couldn't be revived, they'd keep him there as a mascot. You'll be glad to know, though, that he was eventually resuscitated, and my dancing career was declared unofficially and compassionately at an end. But even so, I'm not without hope. Whether under lockdown or at liberty, one day I will dance with the stars. Thank you.